In the gentle twilight of consciousness, where dreams begin to weave their quiet tapestries, let us drift together into the extraordinary world of Pokémon, where the most peculiar and wonderful facts await like soft whispers in the night. Close your eyes and allow your breathing to slow as we explore the hidden mysteries that dwell within this beloved universe, each revelation more soothing than the last. Deep in the ancient forests of the Pokémon world, there exists a creature so mysterious that its very existence challenges our understanding of time itself. Celebi, the gentle time-traveling sprite, possesses the remarkable ability to traverse the streams of time as easily as a leaf floats upon a calm river. What makes this particularly fascinating is that Celebi's time travel creates no paradoxes, no disruptions to the natural order. Instead, it moves through temporal currents like a guardian angel, ensuring that the past, present, and future remain in perfect harmony. Scientists in the Pokémon world theorize that Celebi exists simultaneously across all time periods, its consciousness spread like morning dew across the endless meadow of existence. The phenomenon becomes even more intriguing when we consider that multiple Celebi can exist in the same time period without any conflict or confusion. Each one carries with it the wisdom of countless eras, their emerald eyes reflecting not just the light of the present moment, but the accumulated knowledge of millennia. They flutter through ancient groves where the air itself seems to shimmer with temporal energy, their tiny wings beating in rhythm with the very heartbeat of time. In the deepest trenches of the ocean, where sunlight has never touched the sandy floor, dwells a Pokémon whose existence defies conventional understanding of marine biology. Gorebyss, the South Sea Pokémon, feeds in a manner so unusual that it seems borrowed from the realm of dreams. This elegant creature, with its flowing pink body that undulates like silk underwater, sustains itself by draining the body fluids of other Pokémon through its thin, tube-like mouth. Yet there is something almost ethereal about this process, as if Gorebyss exists in a state between the physical and the spiritual, drawing not just sustenance, but some essential life force from its prey. The waters around Gorebyss seem to take on an otherworldly quality, becoming slightly more viscous, more dreamlike. Other Pokémon in its presence report feeling a gentle lethargy, not unpleasant, but rather like the drowsy contentment that comes just before sleep. Marine researchers have noted that the areas where Gorebyss feed become strangely peaceful, as if the very act of this unusual sustenance creates pockets of tranquility in the vast ocean depths. Far above these mysterious waters, in the star-filled expanses of space, floats a Pokémon that embodies wishes themselves. Jirachi, the Wish Pokémon, sleeps for 1,000 years at a time, awakening for only 7 days, once each millennium. During its brief waking period, this small, star-shaped being has the power to grant any wish written on the tags attached to its head. But here lies one of the most beautiful mysteries of the Pokémon world. Jirachi's wishes are granted not through magic alone, but through a deep understanding of what the wisher truly needs, rather than what they think they want. The tags on Jirachi's head are said to be made of a material that exists nowhere else in the universe, a substance that can absorb and hold the pure essence of hope and desire. When someone writes their wish upon these mystical papers, the words seem to glow with a soft, inner light, as if the very act of hoping has given them substance. Jirachi's sleep is not empty unconsciousness, but rather a deep meditation on the nature of wishes, dreams, and the delicate balance between desire and fulfillment. During its 1,000-year slumber, Jirachi's body hardens into what appears to be crystalline rock, but this transformation is more profound than simple petrification. In this state, Jirachi becomes a living constellation, its body resonating with the movements of distant stars and planets. Ancient texts speak of pilgrims who would journey to find sleeping Jirachi, not to wake it, but simply to sit in its presence and feel the gentle vibrations of cosmic harmony that emanate from its crystalline form. In the realm of ghost-type Pokémon, where the boundary between the living and the departed becomes beautifully blurred, we encounter Duskull, whose behavior reveals one of the most touching aspects of the spirit world. This small, skull-faced Pokémon has a unique relationship with children, but not in the way one might expect from its somewhat intimidating appearance. Duskull is drawn to disobedient children, not to frighten them, but to gently guide them back toward better behavior through a form of supernatural mentorship that spans the veil between worlds. When Duskull encounters a child who has strayed from the path of kindness, it doesn't appear with ghostly theatrics or frightening displays. Instead, it manifests as a subtle presence, a shadow that moves just at the edge of vision, a whisper of cool air that carries with it the wisdom of ages. Children who have been visited by Duskull often report dreams of floating through starlit corridors, guided by a gentle presence that shows them the consequences of their actions, not through punishment, but through understanding. The most remarkable aspect of Duskull's intervention is that it seems to work by awakening empathy within the child. Through some mysterious process, Duskull allows children to experience the emotions of those they have hurt, not as a cruel lesson, but as a gift of perspective that blooms like a flower in their hearts. Many children who have encountered Duskull grow up to become healers, teachers, or guardians, their early supernatural guidance having planted seeds of compassion that flourish throughout their lives. The evolutionary line of Trapinch reveals another of nature's most patient and profound mysteries. This small, orange Pokémon creates conical pits in the desert sand, then waits with the stillness of ancient stones for prey to tumble into its carefully crafted traps. But what makes Trapinch truly extraordinary is not its hunting method, but its relationship with time itself. A single Trapinch may wait in the same pit for decades, its metabolism slowed to such a degree that it barely seems to exist in the same temporal flow as the world around it. During these long vigils, Trapinch enters a state that researchers describe as desert meditation, where its consciousness expands to encompass the entire ecosystem of its sandy domain. It becomes aware of every grain of sand, every shift in the wind, every subtle vibration that travels through the earth. In this state, Trapinch doesn't simply wait for prey. It becomes a living part of the desert itself, its pit serving as a focal point for the complex web of life that exists even in the most seemingly barren landscapes. The sand around a long-established Trapinch pit takes on unique properties, becoming slightly magnetic and developing a faint luminescence visible only in the deepest darkness of desert nights. Local folklore speaks of travelers who have been guided to safety by following these softly glowing patches of sand, as if Trapinch's patient presence creates beacons of hope in the vast wilderness. When Trapinch finally evolves into Vibrava, the transformation is so dramatic that it seems to represent a complete rebirth rather than simple growth. The ground-bound creature suddenly develops the ability to fly, its wings generating ultrasonic vibrations that can be felt rather than heard. These vibrations create standing wave patterns in the air that are visible as shimmering distortions, like heat mirages that dance with purpose and intelligence. Vibrava's ultrasonic song serves multiple purposes beyond simple communication. The frequencies it produces can induce a state of deep relaxation in other Pokémon, creating temporary sanctuaries of peace in the often harsh desert environment. Researchers have discovered that these sonic patterns follow mathematical sequences found nowhere else in nature, suggesting that Vibrava's song taps into some fundamental harmonic principle that underlies reality itself. The final evolution, Flygon, takes this sonic mastery to even greater heights. Known as the mystic Pokémon, Flygon's wings generate what can only be described as music of the spheres, creating melodies so complex and beautiful that they seem to carry listeners into altered states of consciousness. The sound of Flygon's wing beats has been described as resembling a combination of singing sand dunes and celestial choirs, a harmony that bridges the earthbound and the divine. Perhaps most remarkably, Flygon's song seems to have healing properties that extend beyond the physical realm. Pokémon suffering from trauma or deep sadness often seek out Flygon, drawn by instincts they cannot fully understand. In Flygon's presence, surrounded by its ethereal music, these troubled creatures find not just comfort, but genuine transformation, as if the sonic vibrations help to reorganize their emotional energy into healthier patterns. The desert winds that flow around a singing Flygon carry these healing frequencies for miles, creating corridors of peace that stretch across vast expanses of sand. Travelers report that walking through these sonic pathways induces a profound sense of well-being, as if the very air has been infused with liquid serenity. Visions of ancient civilizations that once thrived in these now barren lands, suggesting that Flygon's song might somehow carry the memory of the earth itself. In the mysterious realm where psychic energy takes physical form, we encounter Abra, a Pokémon whose relationship with sleep and consciousness challenges our understanding of both. This small yellow creature spends 18 hours of each day in deep sleep, but this is no ordinary slumber. During these extended periods of rest, Abra's consciousness expands beyond the confines of its physical body, exploring dimensions of reality that remain invisible to waking minds. Abra's sleep is characterized by rapid eye movement that continues throughout its entire rest period, suggesting that it experiences dreams of extraordinary complexity and duration. These dreams are not random neural firing, but appear to be purposeful explorations of psychic space, where Abra encounters other minds, learns new teleportation coordinates, and even communicates with distant members of its species across vast expanses of time and space. The dreams of Abra contain landscapes that exist only in the realm of pure thought, crystalline cities built from concentrated psychic energy where the architecture shifts according to the emotional resonance of its inhabitants. In these dream realms, Abra practices abilities that will not manifest in the physical world until its evolution, rehearsing complex psychic manipulations in environments where the laws of physics bend to the will of consciousness itself. Scientists studying Abra's brain patterns during sleep have discovered that its neural activity reaches levels of complexity normally associated with supercomputers, processing vast amounts of psychic information that would overwhelm a conscious mind. When Abra does awaken, even for brief moments, it demonstrates an uncanny ability to sense danger before it manifests, teleporting away from threats that exist only as possibilities in the quantum foam of future events. This precognitive awareness appears to be a direct result of its dream experiences, where Abra has already witnessed and navigated countless potential timelines. The evolutionary transformation from Abra to Kadabra represents one of the most dramatic cognitive expansions in the natural world, as the creature's consciousness suddenly gains the ability to actively manipulate reality rather than merely observe it through dreams. Kadabra's psychic powers manifest most visibly through its relationship with metallic objects, which bend and twist in response to its mental emanations. However, this metal bending ability is merely the surface expression of a much deeper phenomenon. Kadabra's mind operates on frequencies that resonate with the atomic structure of certain materials, essentially convincing molecules to reorganize themselves according to psychic suggestion rather than physical force. This process occurs at the quantum level, where Kadabra's consciousness interfaces directly with the probability waves that determine how particles behave. The spoon that Kadabra carries is not merely a tool, but a focusing device that helps channel these quantum manipulations with greater precision. The metal of the spoon becomes so thoroughly infused with psychic energy that it begins to exhibit properties found nowhere else in nature, becoming simultaneously more flexible than rubber and stronger than steel depending on Kadabra's mental state. Some researchers theorize that the spoon serves as a physical anchor for Kadabra's consciousness, preventing it from becoming completely untethered from material reality during particularly intense psychic operations. The final evolution, Alakazam, represents perhaps the pinnacle of psychic development in the known world. Its brain never stops growing throughout its lifetime, adding new neural pathways and synaptic connections at a rate that defies biological understanding. This continuous mental expansion allows Alakazam to remember everything it has ever experienced with perfect clarity, creating a living library of accumulated wisdom that spans decades or even centuries of existence. The weight of this ever expanding knowledge eventually becomes so great that Alakazam's head requires psychic support to remain upright, as the physical structure of its skull cannot contain the density of neural tissue within. Alakazam's memory palace exists simultaneously in its physical brain and in a parallel psychic dimension where thoughts take on geometric forms and memories crystallize into navigable landscapes. Within this mental realm, an Alakazam can hold conversations with the preserved consciousness of every creature it has ever encountered, creating an internal society of remembered minds that continues to grow throughout its lifetime. This ability to maintain persistent mental connections with other beings means that Alakazam never truly experiences loneliness, as it carries within itself a multitude of relationships that transcend the limitations of physical separation. The psychic emanations of an elderly Alakazam become so powerful that they begin to affect the fabric of space-time itself, creating small pockets where cause and effect operate according to different rules. In these localized reality distortions, objects might age backwards, gravity might flow upward, or time might move in spirals rather than straight lines. These phenomena are not random, but appear to be unconscious expressions of Alakazam's deepest thoughts and memories, as if its mind has become so dense with accumulated experience that it warps the universe around it like a black hole of consciousness. In the depths of ancient forests, where sunlight filters through countless layers of leaves to create cathedral like spaces of green and gold, we find Celebi, the guardian of temporal continuity. This small fairy like creature exists in a state of constant temporal flux, its consciousness spread across multiple time streams simultaneously. Celebi does not experience time as a linear progression, but rather as a vast garden where past, present, and future bloom together in eternal harmony. Its ability to travel through time is not a learned skill, but an intrinsic aspect of its existence, as natural as breathing is to other creatures. The forests under Celebi's protection exist in a state of temporal stability that defies the normal flow of time. Trees that should have fallen to disease or age continue to thrive for centuries beyond their natural lifespan, sustained by chronological energy that flows backward from future moments when the forest will be needed most urgently. Seeds planted in Celebi's presence sometimes sprout into full grown trees within hours, drawing their growth energy from decades of accumulated sunlight that Celebi borrows from the future and concentrates into the present moment. Celebi's relationship with the concept of healing transcends ordinary medicine, as it can literally undo damage by reversing the flow of time around injured creatures. A Pokémon healed by Celebi does not recover from its wounds, but rather returns to a temporal state before the injury occurred, carrying within its cells the memory of perfect health drawn from its own past. This process creates temporal echoes that ripple through the affected creature's timeline, strengthening its immune system retroactively and making it more resilient to future harm. The voice of Celebi carries harmonics that exist outside normal acoustic space, producing sounds that can only be heard by creatures whose consciousness spans multiple temporal dimensions. These ethereal vocalizations serve as a form of communication with other time-traveling entities, creating a network of temporal guardians who coordinate their efforts across centuries to maintain the stability of the timeline. When multiple Celebi gather, their combined voices create temporal resonance patterns that can heal damage to the fabric of time itself, repairing paradoxes and smoothing out causal loops that threaten to unravel reality. The energy signature of Celebi's presence lingers in locations long after its departure, creating temporal anchor points where the flow of time becomes more stable and predictable. These chronologically blessed locations often become sacred sites where other Pokémon gather to experience the profound peace that comes from existing in perfect temporal harmony. The very atoms in these areas vibrate at frequencies that promote cellular regeneration and mental clarity, as if Celebi's passage has tuned the fundamental forces of nature to a more harmonious frequency. In the mysterious depths of the ocean, where pressure creates diamonds and darkness holds secrets older than continents, dwells Relicanth, a living fossil whose existence bridges eons of evolutionary history. This ancient Pokémon has remained essentially unchanged for over 100 million years, its cellular structure locked in a state of temporal stasis that defies the normal processes of genetic drift and natural selection. Relicanth's body contains genetic information from prehistoric eras, carrying within its DNA the blueprints for countless extinct species and evolutionary pathways that were never explored. The scales of Relicanth are composed of a mineral matrix that forms only under specific deep sea conditions that existed during the planet's primordial era. These scales continue to grow throughout the creature's lifetime, adding new layers that record environmental changes with the precision of geological strata. Scientists studying ancient relicanth specimens have discovered that their scales contain a complete record of oceanic conditions spanning millions of years, creating living libraries of planetary history that swim through the deepest trenches. Relicanth possesses an internal navigation system based on magnetic field detection that allows it to sense the planet's geological memory. This creature can feel the echoes of ancient continental movements, detecting the signatures of long vanished mountain ranges and ocean basins through subtle variations in the Earth's magnetic field. During times of significant geological activity, Relicanth becomes restless, swimming in patterns that mirror the movement of tectonic plates, as if its ancient consciousness is responding to the planet's deep rhythms. The breathing patterns of Relicanth create underwater currents that carry chemical signatures from the deepest ocean trenches, spreading ancient minerals and trace elements throughout the marine ecosystem. These currents serve as highways for other deep-sea creatures, creating migration routes that have remained constant for geological ages. The presence of Relicanth in an area often indicates the location of underwater springs that have flowed continuously since the planet's early history, sources of water so pure and mineral-rich that they support unique ecosystems found nowhere else in the modern ocean. The eggs of Relicanth are perhaps even more extraordinary than the creature itself, taking decades to develop in underwater caverns where the water temperature has remained constant for millennia. These eggs are surrounded by a crystalline shell that forms from dissolved minerals in the ancient water, creating protective barriers that can withstand the crushing pressures of the deepest ocean trenches. The developing embryos inside these eggs experience time differently, their cellular processes slowed to match the geological pace of their environment, allowing them to absorb nutrients and genetic memories that span countless generations. When these eggs finally hatch, the young relicanth emerge already possessing the accumulated knowledge of their species' 100 million-year history, their neural pathways preloaded with navigation routes through ocean trenches that formed before the first flowering plants appeared on land. In the realm of psychic phenomena, few Pokémon demonstrate the profound connection between consciousness and reality quite like Musharna, whose dreams create tangible manifestations that blur the boundaries between sleeping and waking worlds. The dream mist that flows from Musharna's forehead contains microscopic particles of crystallized thought energy, each droplet carrying fragments of dreams from countless sleeping minds. This mist has the remarkable property of making abstract concepts temporarily visible, allowing observers to witness mathematical equations floating through the air, or see musical notes taking physical form as they drift on invisible currents. The colors within Musharna's dream mist shift according to the emotional content of the dreams being processed, creating ethereal auroras that paint the night sky with the collective unconscious of entire regions. The sleeping patterns of Musharna follow lunar cycles that predate the current moon's orbit, suggesting that this Pokemon's dream consciousness is attuned to cosmic rhythms from an earlier epoch in the planet's history. During certain astronomical alignments, Musharna enters a state of deep dream communion where it can access the sleeping minds of Pokemon across vast distances, creating a network of shared consciousness that spans continents. These dream networks allow isolated Pokemon to experience comfort and companionship even in the loneliest environments, as Musharna weaves their individual dreams into collective tapestries of shared experience and mutual understanding. The dream realm that Musharna inhabits exists in a state of fluid time where past, present, and future blend together like watercolors in rain. Within this space, the dreams of ancient Pokemon continue to echo, creating phantom landscapes where extinct species still roam and vanished civilizations still flourish in eternal slumber. Musharna serves as a guardian of these dream archives, ensuring that the memories and experiences of countless generations remain preserved in the collective unconscious, accessible to those who know how to navigate the labyrinthine pathways of sleep and reverie. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, in caverns carved by underground rivers that flow through darkness older than starlight, dwells Crobat, whose four wings create air currents so precise they can navigate through spaces barely wider than its own body without ever touching stone. The wing membranes of Crobat contain specialized cells that can detect air pressure changes as subtle as those created by a butterfly's wing beat miles away, allowing this Pokemon to map complex underground tunnel systems through echolocation, so sophisticated it borders on the supernatural. These wings beat at frequencies that create standing waves in the air, forming invisible pathways that other cave-dwelling Pokemon can follow like aerial highways through the perpetual night of subterranean realms. The evolution from Golbat to Crobat represents one of the most profound transformations in the Pokemon world, requiring not just physical development, but an emotional breakthrough that fundamentally alters the creature's relationship with its environment and companions. During this evolution, Crobat's nervous system undergoes a complete rewiring that enhances its capacity for loyalty and emotional bonding, creating neural pathways dedicated specifically to maintaining deep connections with other beings. This neurological transformation is so complete that evolved Crobat can sense the emotional states of their companions from great distances, their hearts beating in synchronization with those they care about most deeply. The flight patterns of Crobat create three-dimensional maps in the air that other Pokemon can read like aerial scripture, conveying information about food sources, safe roosting spots, and potential dangers through the subtle geometry of their movement. These aerial messages persist in the air currents for hours after Crobat has passed, creating an invisible communication network that spans entire mountain ranges and connects cave systems separated by hundreds of miles. The wind currents generated by Crobat's wings carry microscopic spores and pollen between isolated ecosystems, serving as an unwitting agent of genetic diversity that helps maintain the health of plant communities in remote locations. In the deepest caves where Crobat roosts, the accumulated guano from generations of these Pokémon has created soil so rich in nutrients that it supports unique plant communities found nowhere else on Earth. These cave gardens exist in complete darkness, their photosynthesis replaced by chemosynthesis processes that convert the chemical energy from Crobat's waste into the building blocks of life. The plants that grow in these environments have developed bioluminescent properties that create soft, ethereal glows in the depths, turning Crobat's roosting caves into underground galaxies of living light that pulse gently with the rhythm of subterranean life. The migration patterns of Crobat follow magnetic field lines that connect caves across vast distances, creating aerial superhighways that have remained constant for thousands of years. These flight paths often coincide with areas of geological instability, and the presence of migrating Crobat swarms can serve as an early warning system for earthquakes and volcanic activity, as their sensitive pressure detection abilities allow them to sense tectonic movements long before they become apparent to surface dwellers. Among the most enigmatic of all Pokemon abilities is the peculiar relationship that Shedinja maintains with the concept of existence itself, its hollow body serving as a vessel for energies that exist at the boundary between life and void. The shell of Shedinja contains no internal organs, no blood, no conventional biological processes, yet it maintains a form of consciousness that operates according to principles that transcend ordinary understanding of what it means to be alive. The empty space within Shedinja's body creates a vacuum that draws in ambient spiritual energy from its surroundings, concentrating and purifying these ethereal forces until they achieve a state of perfect stillness that resembles the peace found at the center of meditation. The crack in Shedinja's back serves as a window into dimensions that exist parallel to our own, realms where the normal rules of physics operate according to different constants and where time flows in spirals rather than straight lines. Those who glimpse into this opening report, experiencing profound philosophical insights about the nature of existence and non existence, though the human mind can only retain fragments of these cosmic revelations. The energy that emanates from this dimensional gateway has the remarkable property of inducing deep states of contemplative peace in nearby Pokémon, creating zones of profound tranquility where aggressive behavior becomes impossible and all creatures exist in harmonious balance. Shedinja's movement through space creates ripples in the fabric of reality that can be detected by sensitive, psychic-type Pokémon from great distances, its presence announcing itself through subtle alterations in the flow of time and causality. These reality distortions follow mathematical patterns based on ancient geometric principles, creating mandala-like formations in the energy fields that surround areas where Shedinja has lingered. The soil beneath places where Shedinja has rested for extended periods becomes infused with trace amounts of interdimensional minerals that cause plants to grow in perfect spirals, their leaves arranged according to sequences that mirror the golden ratio and other fundamental mathematical constants that govern the architecture of existence itself. The crystalline formations that develop in these spiritually charged soils exhibit properties that defy conventional mineralogy, their lattice structures incorporating gaps and spaces that seem to contain nothing yet somehow contribute to their overall stability and beauty. These phantom crystals, as researchers have come to call them, resonate at frequencies that align with the deepest meditative brainwave patterns, creating natural sound chambers that generate barely audible harmonics capable of inducing states of profound relaxation in any creature that rests nearby. The geometric precision of these formations suggests an underlying intelligence guiding their development, as if the very earth itself has learned to dream in mathematical perfection through its contact with Shedinja's otherworldly essence. In the depths of ancient forests, where sunlight filters through countless layers of leaves, creating cathedral like spaces filled with dancing motes of golden dust, there exists a phenomenon known as the Celebi convergence, where the boundaries between past, present, and future become as thin as morning mist. Time sensitive Pokémon gather in these sacred groves during specific lunar phases, drawn by temporal currents that flow like invisible rivers through the woodland air. The trees in these locations grow with rings that spiral rather than form perfect circles, their growth patterns recording not just the passage of seasons, but the ebb and flow of chronological tides that sweep across the forest floor. Moss grows in patterns that spell out ancient words in languages that predate human civilization, messages left by Celebi during its travels through the time stream, warnings and wisdom encoded in the very fabric of the forest ecosystem. The air in these temporal sanctuaries shimmers with barely visible distortions, places where different moments in history overlap and create pockets of concentrated time that age at different rates. A single step might carry a traveler through hours or compress days into heartbeats, while flowers bloom and wither in accelerated cycles that play out like time-lapse poetry written in petals and pollen. The sound of wind through these enchanted groves carries echoes from across the centuries, whispers of ancient Pokémon songs, and the distant calls of species that have yet to evolve, creating a symphony that spans geological ages and connects all moments in an eternal present. Deep beneath the ocean's surface, where pressure creates diamonds and darkness reigns supreme, the legendary Kyogre slumbers in trenches so deep that they touch the very bones of the planet. Its breathing creates currents that spiral through oceanic basins, generating whirlpools that extend from the seafloor to the surface in perfect helical formations that can be seen from space as azure spirals in the deep blue of the world's waters. The rhythm of Kyogre's heartbeat synchronizes with tidal patterns across the globe, each pulse sending waves of energy through underwater mountain ranges that cause bioluminescent creatures to flash in synchronized patterns, creating underwater auroras that paint the abyssal plains in colors that have no names in any human language. The water surrounding Kyogre's resting place becomes charged with primordial energy that transforms ordinary seawater into a substance with properties closer to liquid light, capable of supporting forms of life that exist nowhere else on Earth. Microscopic organisms in these waters develop crystalline structures within their cells, becoming living prisms that refract and amplify the mystical energies flowing from the slumbering Titan. Those enhanced microorganisms form the base of an ecosystem that operates according to principles of harmony and balance so perfect that predation becomes cooperation and competition transforms into collaborative art, with each species contributing its unique abilities to maintain the pristine equilibrium of their underwater paradise. Schools of fish in these blessed waters swim in formations that mirror the molecular structure of water itself, their movements creating living mandalas that shift and flow with mathematical precision. Each individual fish serving as a single note in oceanic symphonies that play continuously across the depths. The songs these formations create travel through the water at frequencies that resonate with the Earth's core, creating a planetary heartbeat that keeps the world's geological processes in perfect synchronization and prevents the chaotic upheavals that would otherwise tear continents apart. In volcanic regions, where Grodin's influence still lingers, the Earth itself pulses with a slow, steady rhythm that matches the breathing patterns of deep sleep, creating natural meditation chambers within lava tubes where the walls have been polished smooth by centuries of thermal expansion and contraction. The mineral content of these underground spaces creates natural acoustics that amplify the subtle sounds of the Earth's movement, transforming the barely audible creaks and shifts of tectonic plates into a gentle percussion that induces profound states of geological communion in those who spend extended time within these chambers. The heat radiating from these sacred spaces follows patterns that mirror the circulation of blood through living bodies, creating thermal currents that rise and fall in perfect cycles, carrying with them the sense of rare minerals that have been sublimated into aromatic compounds with properties similar to natural aromatherapy oils. Breathing this mineral-rich air induces visions of the Earth's formation, allowing consciousness to expand backward through geological time to witness the birth of continents and the slow dance of crustal plates that continues to shape the world with patient, inexorable precision. Pokémon that dwell in these thermally blessed regions develop an intuitive understanding of geological processes, their movements unconsciously following the stress patterns within the Earth's crust, helping to distribute tectonic pressures in ways that prevent catastrophic releases of energy. Their migration routes form vast geometric patterns across continents, creating a living acupuncture system that maintains the planet's structural health through the precise application of movement and presence at critical points in the global energy grid. The relationship between Rayquaza and atmospheric phenomena extends far beyond its role in maintaining weather patterns, reaching into the realm of consciousness itself as it weaves through stratospheric layers where thoughts and dreams take on semi-physical form. At altitudes where the air becomes thin enough to touch the edge of space, Rayquaza's passage creates standing waves in the atmospheric plasma that generate aurora-like displays visible only to those with sufficient psychic sensitivity to perceive light frequencies beyond the normal spectrum of human vision. These high-altitude auroras pulse in rhythm with the collective unconscious of all life below, creating a visual representation of the planet's emotional state that shifts and flows like liquid music painted across the sky. The patterns formed by these displays follow fractal geometries that mirror the neural networks of sleeping minds, suggesting that Rayquaza serves as a conduit between individual consciousness and the greater awareness that emerges from the interconnected web of all living things. The air currents that follow in Rayquaza's wake carry microscopic particles charged with psychic energy, creating atmospheric rivers of enhanced consciousness that influence weather patterns in subtle but profound ways. Rain that falls from clouds, touched by these currents, carries trace amounts of this psychic charge, nourishing plants with water that enhances their natural empathic abilities and creates forests where the trees communicate through root networks that pulse with telepathic harmonies. These empathically enhanced forests develop canopies that respond to the emotional states of creatures dwelling beneath them, with leaves that shift color in gentle gradients, reflecting the collective mood of the woodland community. The root networks beneath these psychically nourished trees extend for miles underground, creating vast neural webs that process and distribute emotional information across entire ecosystems. When a Pokemon experiences joy or contentment within these forests, the sensation ripples outward through the root system, causing distant flowers to bloom in synchronized waves that spread like visual music across meadows and clearings. The trees themselves begin to exhibit behaviors reminiscent of slow-moving creatures, their branches reaching toward areas of emotional distress to provide comfort through the gentle rustle of leaves that produce frequencies scientifically proven to reduce cortisol levels and promote healing. Within these atmospherically blessed woodlands, certain species of grass-type Pokémon develop the ability to photosynthesize not just sunlight, but emotional energy itself, converting feelings of happiness and peace into stored nutrients that they can share with other forest inhabitants during times of scarcity. Their leaves become living mood rings, displaying subtle color changes that communicate the emotional climate of their immediate surroundings to any observer sensitive enough to read these botanical expressions. The process of emotional photosynthesis creates a feedback loop where positive emotions generate more life-sustaining energy, encouraging the development of harmonious communities where conflict naturally dissolves into collaborative problem solving. The underground networks, formed by these psychically enhanced root systems, eventually connect with natural cave systems, where certain rock and ground type Pokemon have learned to interpret the emotional data flowing through geological formations. These cave-dwelling species develop crystalline growths on their bodies that serve as living receivers for the emotional frequencies transmitted through stone and soil. The crystals pulse with soft, bioluminescent light that creates underground aurora displays, visible only to creatures adapted to subterranean life. These cave auroras follow the same fractal patterns observed in Rayquaza's high-altitude light shows, confirming the existence of a planet-spanning network of consciousness that operates simultaneously through atmospheric and geological channels. Deep within mountain caves, where these crystal formations reach their most complex development, time itself begins to behave differently, flowing in eddies and currents that allow brief glimpses into parallel timelines where different evolutionary paths were taken. Pokemon that spend extended periods in these temporal anomaly zones develop the ability to exist simultaneously across multiple timeline branches, their consciousness spreading like water through the cracks between different possible realities. This temporal sensitivity allows them to predict future events, not through precognition, but through direct observation of probability streams as they flow toward actualization. Their presence in these caves helps stabilize the timeline fluctuations, preventing reality tears that could allow dangerous paradoxes to manifest in the physical world. The crystalline formations within these caves grow according to mathematical principles that govern the structure of consciousness itself, their geometric patterns serving as three-dimensional representations of thought processes made manifest in mineral form. Each crystal cluster represents a different aspect of collective awareness, from the simple survival instincts shared by all life to the complex philosophical concepts that emerge from highly evolved minds. Pokémon that meditate in proximity to these consciousness crystals often develop telepathic abilities that extend far beyond their species' normal capabilities, becoming living bridges between different forms of intelligence and helping to maintain the delicate balance between individual awareness and collective consciousness. The caves themselves pulse with a rhythm that matches the planet's magnetic field fluctuations, creating a geological heartbeat that synchronizes with the biorhythms of creatures dwelling within their depths. This synchronization process gradually aligns the consciousness of cave-dwelling Pokémon with the planet's own awareness, allowing them to sense changes in global conditions long before these changes manifest as observable phenomena on the surface. Their sensitivity to these deep rhythms makes them invaluable as early warning systems for natural disasters, their behavior patterns shifting in predictable ways that alert surface communities to impending geological events. The magnetic field fluctuations that create the cave's rhythmic pulsing also generate standing wave patterns in the surrounding rock that amplify psychic energies in specific frequency ranges. These amplified frequencies create resonance chambers where thoughts and emotions take on increased coherence and power, allowing even non-psychic Pokémon to experience brief moments of telepathic clarity. The effect is strongest during certain lunar phases when the moon's gravitational influence creates additional harmonic frequencies that blend with the existing resonance patterns to produce complex interference patterns that open temporary windows into expanded states of consciousness. During these enhanced resonance periods, the boundary between individual minds becomes permeable, allowing cave communities to function as collective organisms where decisions emerge from group consensus achieved through direct mental connection rather than verbal communication. The experience of this temporary unity consciousness creates lasting bonds between community members that persist even after the resonance enhancement fades, forming social structures based on empathic understanding rather than hierarchical dominance. These communities develop problem-solving capabilities that far exceed the sum of their individual intelligences, approaching challenges with creative solutions that emerge from the intersection of multiple perspectives operating in perfect harmony. The resonance chambers within the caves also serve as natural laboratories where psychic-type Pokémon conduct experiments in consciousness manipulation, learning to shape reality through focused intention rather than physical action. Their research into the malleable nature of perceived reality reveals that the boundary between mind and matter is far more fluid than commonly understood, with thoughts capable of influencing physical structures when properly focused and amplified through crystalline resonance. These discoveries lead to the development of healing techniques that operate by correcting distortions in the consciousness field that underlies physical form, addressing illness and injury at their conceptual source rather than merely treating symptoms. The healing techniques developed in these resonance chambers work by identifying the harmonic frequencies associated with perfect health and then using crystal amplification to restore these frequencies in disrupted biological systems. The process resembles tuning a musical instrument, with consciousness serving as both the instrument and the musician, adjusting itself to resonate with the fundamental frequencies of optimal function. Pokemon trained in these techniques become living tuning forks, their presence automatically correcting harmonic distortions in nearby creatures and creating zones of enhanced wellness that extend far beyond the caves where they learned their skills. The zones of enhanced wellness created by these harmony healers gradually expand outward from their source points, creating networks of positive influence that span entire regions. The expansion follows natural energy pathways through the landscape, following ley lines and underground watercourses that carry harmonic frequencies across vast distances. Rivers and streams become conduits for healing energy, their water carrying harmonic information that benefits every creature that drinks from them or lives within their ecosystems. The cumulative effect transforms entire watersheds into healing environments where illness becomes increasingly rare and natural regeneration processes operate at enhanced efficiency. These watershed transformations attract Pokemon species from distant regions who instinctively sense the beneficial properties of harmonically enhanced water. Their migrations create new mixing patterns that introduce genetic diversity while spreading the harmonic healing techniques to previously isolated populations. The resulting cultural exchange leads to the development of hybrid healing methodologies that combine the wisdom of multiple traditions into increasingly sophisticated approaches to consciousness-based wellness. Each new synthesis creates more powerful healing frequencies that further enhance the beneficial properties of the affected watersheds. The enhanced water systems eventually connect with ocean currents that carry harmonic frequencies across entire continents, creating a global circulation system for consciousness healing energy that operates parallel to the physical circulation of water through the planetary hydrological cycle. Marine Pokemon exposed to these harmonically charged currents develop enhanced intelligence and emotional sensitivity, forming complex social structures that rival those of the most advanced land-based communities. Their underwater cities become centers of learning where knowledge flows as freely as the currents that carry harmonic wisdom from distant shores. These underwater metropolises glow faintly with bioluminescent patterns that map the harmonic currents flowing through their structures, creating living diagrams of consciousness energy that shift and reform as the tides change. Lantern schools use their natural lights to amplify specific frequencies, creating underwater symphonies of vibration that can be felt for miles through the pressure-sensitive lateral lines of aquatic Pokémon. The songs they produce contain encoded information about the health of ocean ecosystems, warnings about approaching storms, and even historical records passed down through generations. Certain Whiscash elders are renowned for their ability to interpret minute variations in these harmonic songs, detecting disturbances in distant regions based on subtle changes in the vibrational patterns carried by migrating Luminion pods. Their predictions help coastal communities prepare for environmental shifts long before physical signs become apparent. The harmonic knowledge spreads vertically as well, with deep sea dwellers like Relicanth preserving ancient vibrational maps in the crystalline structures of their scales. These living archives maintain records of consciousness patterns from eras when land masses held different shapes, allowing modern healers to access healing frequencies that have been absent from surface ecosystems for millennia. Occasionally, underwater earthquakes release these ancient harmonics back into active circulation when subterranean crystal formations fracture and release long trapped vibrations into the surrounding water. The sudden reappearance of forgotten frequencies causes temporary disruption as marine ecosystems adjust to the unfamiliar patterns, but ultimately enriches the overall harmonic diversity of the planetary system. On land, the effects manifest through weather patterns, as Alteria use their cloud like wings to distribute harmonic charges through atmospheric moisture. Their flight paths create invisible networks in the skies that influence storm development and rainfall distribution, with certain routes becoming traditional migrations followed for their beneficial effects on regional climates. Farmers have long observed that crops grow more vigorously under flight paths frequented by swablu flocks, their harmonic imprint lingering in dew droplets that soak into the soil. Modern research reveals this phenomenon stems from subtle restructuring of water molecule clusters at the molecular level, creating naturally coherent water that enhances nutrient absorption in plants. The same principle applies to berries consumed by Pokémon, with harmonically enhanced varieties providing more efficient energy conversion and reduced metabolic waste. Beneath the soil, mycelial networks act as the terrestrial counterpart to ocean currents, with parasect colonies tending vast underground harmonic distribution systems. Their mushroom caps extend delicate filaments that transmit vibrational information between root systems, allowing entire forests to share resources and warnings across species boundaries. This explains the mysterious phenomenon of phantom orchards, where berry trees suddenly bear fruit months out of season, always occurring near fungal colonies that have tapped into particularly strong harmonic currents. The underground networks occasionally surface through crystalline formations that grow at nodal points where multiple harmonic pathways intersect. These natural shrines become gathering places for rare Pokémon like Celebi, whose time-spanning consciousness interacts with the location's accumulated harmonics to produce localized temporal anomalies where past and future briefly coexist. The relationship between consciousness harmonics and temporality remains one of the most fascinating areas of study. Dialga's influence manifests not through linear time, but through the interference patterns created when harmonic waves from different eras interact. Areas rich in temporal harmonics allow trained observers to perceive these interactions as faint afterimages of past events or premonitory flickers of potential futures. Some ghost-type Pokémon naturally exist within these interference patterns, their forms constantly shifting as they ride the standing waves of time like surfers on an eternal tide. The ruins of ancient civilizations often coincide with powerful temporal harmonic nodes, explaining why so many historical sites simultaneously feel frozen in time, yet charged with latent energy. Weather phenomena provide another visible manifestation of harmonic interactions. The prismatic effects sometimes seen in Ho-Oh's rainbow trail result from atmospheric moisture aligning into perfect crystalline structures under the influence of its harmonic field. The temporary formations can persist for hours after its passing, creating localized regions where sunlight refracts into colors beyond normal human perception, shades that certain Pokemon use for communication. Research indicates the legendary beasts Raikou, Entei, and Suicune each maintain harmonic signatures that stabilize specific aspects of weather systems, their roaming patterns unconsciously preserving equilibrium across continents. When their paths converge, as they do once every 12 years at specific geomantic locations, the resulting harmonic convergence can temporarily elevate ordinary Pokemon to unprecedented levels of power and awareness. Even humanity's technological developments unconsciously replicate these natural, harmonic principles. The earliest Pokeballs utilized apricorn woods selected for their unique acoustic properties, with the best craftsmen tuning each sphere to resonate with specific evolutionary frequencies. Modern devices still incorporate harmonic tuning into their designs, with healing machines employing precisely calibrated sound waves to restore Pokemon by realigning their vibrational matrices. The most advanced research facilities now experiment with harmonic projection systems that can temporarily extend a Pokemon's capabilities by exposing them to carefully modulated consciousness frequencies, a process remarkably similar to the ancient rituals once performed in those underground crystal chambers. As our understanding deepens, we find these principles operating at every scale, from the massive ley lines that shape continents down to the quantum vibrations of individual cells. The universe hums with unseen harmonies, and Pokemon exist as both performers and audience in this eternal concert. Each creature contributes its unique tone to the grand composition, whether through a Butterfree's wing beats, stirring resonant patterns in the air, or a Steelix's seismic movements, sending harmonic pulses through bedrock. To understand these connections is to glimpse the underlying unity of all things, a realization that dawns slowly, like morning light revealing patterns in the mist. And as awareness grows, so does our appreciation for the intricate, interwoven tapestry of vibrations that form the true nature of reality, where every frequency finds its place, every resonance its purpose, in the endless music of existence, playing softly through time and space and memory, connecting all in perfect harmony. Continue with slow, measured breaths, allowing the narration to gradually fade into silence. The relationship between Pokemon and their environment extends far beyond what meets the eye, revealing layers of interconnectedness that have evolved over millennia. Consider the symbiotic bond between Blossom and flowering plants. When Blossom dances, its movements release subtle vibrations that stimulate the growth of nearby flora. This phenomenon, often referred to as the dance of renewal, has been studied extensively in tropical regions where blossom populations thrive. The flowers that grow in these areas often exhibit brighter colors and more robust structures, a testament to the unseen harmonic influence of these graceful Pokemon. Similarly, the presence of Sudowoodo in forested areas can be detected by the unique patterns of tree growth surrounding them. These rock-type Pokemon emit low-frequency vibrations that subtly shape the growth of trees, creating natural shelters and pathways that benefit both themselves and other forest dwellers. This process, though slow, forms intricate networks within the forest that serve as natural corridors for Pokemon migration. The concept of harmonic resonance also plays a crucial role in the evolution of certain Pokemon. Take, for instance, the evolutionary line of Eevee, whose adaptability is legendary. Each of Eevee's evolutions, Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, and others, represents a perfect alignment with specific environmental frequencies. When Eeve's is exposed to a water stone, it resonates with the aquatic harmonic spectrum, transforming into Vaporeon. The same principle applies to the Thunderstone and Jolteon, the Firestone and Flareon, and so on. This process is not merely chemical, but deeply rooted in the vibrational compatibility between the Pokemon and its surroundings. Researchers have discovered that these evolutionary stones contain crystalline structures that emit frequencies matching those of their respective elements. When an Eevee comes into contact with such a stone, its body undergoes a harmonic transformation, aligning itself with the elemental energy of the stone. This phenomenon suggests that evolution is not just a biological process, but a harmonic one where the Pokemon's vibrational matrix shifts to match its environment. The influence of harmonics extends even to the behavior and social structures of Pokemon communities. For example, the intricate songs of Chateau are not merely melodies, but complex harmonic codes that convey information across vast distances. Each note and rhythm carries specific meanings, from warnings of danger to invitations for migration. These songs can travel through the air, water, and even the ground, reaching other Chatot and Pokemon attuned to their frequencies. Similarly, the synchronized swimming patterns of Luminion are guided by harmonic pulses that flow through the water, creating a collective rhythm that ensures their movements are perfectly coordinated. These harmonic communications form the backbone of Pokemon societies, allowing them to function with remarkable efficiency and cohesion. Even the architecture of Pokemon habitats reveals harmonic principles at work. The nests of Beedrill, for instance, are constructed with precise geometric patterns that amplify their defensive capabilities. The hexagonal cells of their hives resonate with the vibrations produced by Beedrill's wings, creating a protective barrier that deters predators. Similarly, the underground tunnels dug by Dugtrio follow specific harmonic paths that optimize airflow and temperature regulation, ensuring a stable environment for the Pokemon that inhabit them. These natural designs, honed over countless generations, demonstrate an innate understanding of harmonic principles that surpasses human ingenuity in many respects. The study of Pokemon harmonics also sheds light on some of the more mysterious phenomena observed in the Pokemon world. The Aurora phenomenon, often associated with the legendary Pokemon Articuno, is believed to be a manifestation of harmonic energies interacting with the Earth's magnetic field. The shimmering lights of the Aurora are said to carry the essence of Articuno's power, creating a bridge between the physical and spiritual realms. Similarly, the mysterious mirages that appear in deserts are thought to be caused by harmonic distortions in the air, possibly influenced by the presence of ground or psychic type Pokemon. These phenomena, though elusive, provide glimpses into the deeper connections that bind the Pokemon world together. As we delve deeper into the study of Pokemon harmonics, we begin to see patterns that transcend individual species or environments. The rhythmic pulses of a metagross's electromagnetic field, the resonant hum of a magnezone's levitation, the synchronized blinking of a volbeat's bioluminescence. All these are expressions of the same fundamental principles that govern the universe. It is a reminder that every Pokemon, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, plays a vital role in the grand symphony of life. Their vibrations intertwine, creating a tapestry of energy that sustains and nurtures the world around them. This understanding also brings a new perspective to the bond between Pokemon and their trainers. The synchronization achieved through training and battle is not just a matter of skill or strategy, but a harmonic alignment between two beings. When a trainer and their Pokemon work together, their vibrational matrices resonate in unison, creating a synergy that enhances their abilities. This is why the strongest bonds between trainers and Pokemon often result in the most extraordinary feats. Their energies blend seamlessly, amplifying each other's strengths and compensating for weaknesses. It is a dance of harmony where each partner moves in perfect rhythm with the other. The exploration of Pokemon harmonics, this is an ongoing journey, one that promises to reveal even more about the intricate web of connections that define the Pokemon world. As we continue to study these phenomena, we gain not only a deeper appreciation for the complexity of Pokemon biology, but also a greater understanding of the universe itself. The harmonics that govern Pokemon are the same forces that shape stars, planets, and galaxies, a universal language that speaks through every particle of existence. To listen to this symphony is to hear the voice of creation itself, a timeless melody that echoes through the ages, connecting all things in perfect harmony. Continue with slow breaths, letting the narration dissolve into silence. And in this quiet understanding, we find that even the most ordinary moments in the Pokemon world hum with unseen significance. Consider the way a Caterpie's silk glistens in the morning dew, each strand vibrating at a frequency that subtly alters the air around it, a microscopic symphony of friction and tension. Or the way a Whismer's whisper, though soft to our ears, sends ripples through the atmosphere that can be detected miles away by sensitive Pokemon like Noivern, who navigate the world through these delicate sonic tremors. Every action, no matter how small, sends out waves that touch the lives of others in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. Even the earth beneath our feet is alive with these vibrations. The slow tectonic movements of onyx deep underground create low-frequency pulses that travel through stone and soil, shaping entire ecosystems. Some researchers believe these vibrations are what guide Diglett and Dugtrio as they tunnel, their whisker-like sensors attuned to the subtlest shifts in the planet's resonance. In regions like Alola, where volcanic activity is frequent, the rhythmic eruptions of Pokemon like Magmar and Macargo are thought to be in harmony with the land itself, releasing pressure in a way that maintains balance rather than causing destruction. It's as if the very geology of the Pokemon world is composed of countless interlocking rhythms, each playing its part in a grand geological composition. Water, too, carries these harmonies in its ebb and flow. The tides respond not just to the moon's pull, but to the presence of water-type Pokemon like Lapras and Melodic, whose movements generate currents that stabilize marine ecosystems. Fishermen in coastal towns have long spoken of singing waves, moments when the ocean seems to hum with an otherworldly melody, often coinciding with the migration of rare Pokémon. Scientists now suspect these are infrasonic vibrations produced by schools of Wishiwashi, or the distant calls of Kyogre, resonating through the water in patterns that guide other sea creatures to safety during storms. The ocean, in this way, is not just a body of water, but a vast living instrument, its surface rippling with the music of unseen conductors. Even the air we breathe is filled with these invisible harmonies. The flapping of a Pidgey's wings creates microvortices that disperse seeds and pollen, while the hovering of a Togekiss generates gentle updrafts that help clear pollution from the skies. In the high altitudes where Rayquaza soars, the boundary between atmosphere and space thrums with ultra-low frequencies, a phenomenon some mythologies describe as the breath of the sky dragon. These vibrations may explain why certain flying-type Pokémon seem to defy conventional aerodynamics, their bodies naturally attuned to the resonant frequencies of the air itself, allowing them to glide effortlessly on currents that would be imperceptible to human senses. And then there is the quiet, steady pulse of plant life, so often overlooked. The photosynthesis of sunflora and blossom doesn't just produce oxygen, it emits a soft, rhythmic glow in wavelengths visible to grass-type Pokémon, a silent language of light that signals health, danger, or the changing of seasons. Ancient forests are said to possess their own slow heartbeat, a collective vibration from the roots of Trevenant and the rustling leaves of Shiftry, synchronizing over centuries into a living, breathing network. Some even claim that the rare blooming of a Comphase flowers is preceded by a subsonic hum, as if the very earth is singing the petals into existence. Perhaps most fascinating of all is how these harmonics extend beyond the physical world into the realm of emotion and memory. The psychic echoes left by Pokémon like Mewtwo or Alakazam linger in places long after they've departed, imprinted on the environment like a recording. Trainers who meditate in areas where powerful psychic types once battled report hearing faint, residual whispers, fragments of thoughts and feelings suspended in time. Similarly, ghost-type Pokémon are drawn to locations where strong emotions once resonated, feeding on the vibrational remnants of joy, sorrow, or unresolved longing. Abante's stitches, for instance, are said to thrum with the frequency of the grudges that animate it, while a Mimikyu's disguise vibrates at a pitch that distorts perception, making its true form unbearable to behold. Even evolution, that most mysterious of Pokémon phenomena, may be governed by these unseen rhythms. The stones used to trigger certain evolutions, fire stones, water stones, and the like, are now believed to emit resonant frequencies that align with a Pokémon's latent energy, catalyzing transformation. The way an Eevee's cells rearrange under the influence of these stones mirrors the way sound waves can reshape matter, suggesting that evolution is less a chemical process and more a harmonic one. Some cultures speak of evolution songs, ancient melodies passed down through generations that, when hummed at the right pitch, can coax a Pokémon into its next stage of life. Though unproven, there are accounts of elderly trainers in remote villages who still remember these tunes, using them to guide their Pokémon through transitions that would otherwise require stones or intense training. As night falls and the world grows still, these harmonics become easier to perceive. The distant cry of a noctowl carries farther in the cool air, its pitch perfectly calibrated to soothe restless Pokemon back to sleep. The bioluminescence of Morlul pulses in time with the breathing of the forest, a gentle lullaby of light. Even the stars above seem to vibrate in harmony with the earth, their ancient light whispering secrets to those who know how to listen. And so, as we drift into dreams, we might imagine ourselves attuned to these quiet frequencies, feeling the hum of a sleeping Snorlax's breath, the resonant purr of an Esper's suppressed power, or the almost imperceptible shimmer of a Clefairy's moonlit dance. The Pokemon world sings, endlessly and beautifully, in a language older than time. And if we are very, very still, we might just hear it. Let the narration fade into silence, leaving only the soft, imagined sounds of the Pokemon world's harmonies. The quiet mysteries of the Pokemon world extend even into the realm of dreams, where the boundaries between reality and imagination grow soft. There are legends of certain Pokemon, like Darkrai, that exist in the liminal space between sleep and wakefulness, their very presence bending the fabric of dreams. But even ordinary Pokemon exhibit fascinating behaviors when they slumber. A sleeping Slowpoke's tail, for instance, occasionally twitches in response to distant psychic vibrations, as if it's tuning into some unseen broadcast. Some researchers believe this is why Slowpoke tails were once prized as divining rods. Their drowsy sensitivity to unseen energies made them uncannily accurate at locating water or predicting storms. Then there's the curious case of Drowsy, a Pokemon that feeds on dreams. But it doesn't consume just any dream. It seeks out the ones tinged with strong emotion, drawing sustenance from the vivid, swirling colors of a child's joyful fantasy or the shadowy contours of a nightmare. What's fascinating is that Drowsy doesn't merely erase these dreams, it digests them slowly, and trainers who've bonded closely with their Drowsy report, occasionally experiencing fragments of dreams their Pokemon consumed long ago, as if the memories were passed back to them like echoes. Even the way Pokemon sleep can reveal hidden depths of their biology. Take Dratini, for example. The serpentine Pokemon coils itself into intricate knots before resting, not just for comfort, but because the pressure of its own body stimulates the growth of its delicate scales. Trainers who've raised Dratini often note that the more complex the knot, the shinier the scales become upon waking. Some ancient texts even describe meditative practices where humans would mimic these knots in the belief that it would help them harness dragon-like resilience. The phenomenon of sleep extends to plant-based Pokemon as well. Blossom, despite its perpetual dancing during the day, becomes utterly still at night, its petals folding inward like hands in prayer. Botanists studying this behavior discovered that the closed petals resonate at a frequency that repels nocturnal herbivores, effectively singing a silent lullaby that says, "Do not disturb." Similarly, a sleeping sunflora doesn't just wilt, it slowly rotates throughout the night, calibrating itself so that at the first hint of dawn, its face is perfectly aligned to catch the sun's earliest rays. Some Pokemon don't sleep at all, at least not in the way we understand it. Shedinja, for instance, is said to exist in a state of perpetual stillness, its hollow back acting as a window into another world. There are folk tales of people who've peered into that void and seen fleeting glimpses of what lies beyond. Some claim it's an endless twilight, others insist it's a reflection of their own soul. Whatever the truth, Shedinja's eerie quietude serves as a reminder that rest doesn't always mean unconsciousness. Even the act of waking holds its own peculiarities. A metapod emerging from sleep, he doesn't simply stir. It undergoes a near imperceptible vibration, a rehearsal of the frequencies it will one day use to split its cocoon during evolution. Observant trainers can sometimes predict when a metapod is close to evolving by the way its shell hums in the early morning, as if practicing for its grand transformation. And then there are the Pokémon that blur the line between sleep and other states entirely. Komala, for example, is always asleep, yet it moves, eats, and even battles without ever truly waking. Scholars speculate that Komala's waking life exists entirely within its dreams, and the log it clings to acts as an anchor, tethering it to the physical world. There's something profoundly peaceful about this idea that a Pokemon could navigate reality while remaining forever nestled in the safety of its own mind. As the night deepens, even the air itself seems to slow. The faint glow of Volbeat and Illumise flickers in gentle synchrony, their light patterns forming a silent conversation that spans entire meadows. Scientists once believed these flashes were random, but closer study revealed intricate rhythms, distinct dialects that vary from region to region. In some forests, the Volbeat's lights pulse in sequences that mirror the migration paths of the stars, while in others, they mimic the dripping of dew from leaves, a luminous homage to the passage of time. The moon, too, plays its part in this nocturnal symphony. Clefairy and its kin are most active under a full moon, their movements becoming almost ceremonial. Some say they're dancing to a melody only they can hear, while others believe they're charting celestial pathways, their footfalls leaving invisible traces that guide lost souls. On particularly clear nights, if one stays very still, they might notice a faint shimmer in the air around a dancing Clefairy, a distortion like heat rising from pavement, hinting at forces just beyond human perception. And then there are the Pokémon that thrive in the deepest quiet of all, those that dwell in caves, where sound itself seems to dissolve. A Zubat in total darkness doesn't rely on its poor eyesight. Instead, it navigates by the reverberations of its own cries, painting a sonic map of the world around it. But what's truly remarkable is that these cries are unique to each individual. No two Zubat echolocate in quite the same way. Some produce clicks that ripple like raindrops, while others emit tones so soft they're barely audible, blending seamlessly into the whisper of underground streams. In the ocean's midnight zones, where sunlight never reaches, Pokémon like Chinchou emit gentle bioluminescence that pulses in slow, hypnotic patterns. Marine biologists have noted that these lights aren't just for illumination, they're a form of communication, a way to convey everything from curiosity to caution across the abyss. Some deep-sea trainers claim that if you watch a school of Chinchou long enough, their flickering begins to resemble constellations, as if they're tracing stories written in the language of the cosmos. Back on land, the rustling of leaves takes on a rhythm of its own. A wandering phantom might pause beside a sleeping tree, its hollow body resonating with the creak of ancient branches. In some traditions, it's said that Phantom absorbs the memories of the forests it passes through, carrying whispers of centuries-old storms and long-forgotten footpaths. There are tales of lost travelers who followed a phantom's faint, woody knocks only to find themselves emerging into sunlight, unsure if hours or days had passed. Even the earth beneath our feet holds its own quiet music. Diglett's tunnels aren't just random passageways, they follow subterranean currents, winding along paths of least resistance in a rhythm that mirrors the planet's own slow breath. Some geologists speculate that large colonies of Diglett and Dugtrio subtly influence the land above them, their endless digging preventing earthquakes by dispersing tectonic tension in tiny, imperceptible increments. As the night stretches on, the boundaries between Pokemon and their environments grow softer. A melodic's scales ripple with the same cadence as the water it glides through, so perfectly in sync that it's impossible to tell where the Pokemon ends and the lake begins. A sleeping Butterfree's wings, folded tight, still tremble slightly, not from the cold, but in response to distant air currents, as if dreaming of flight. And so, as we drift deeper into sleep ourselves, we might imagine these quiet wonders unfolding all around us. The slow pulse of a lantern's glow in the deep, the whisper of a shaman's flowers blooming under starlight, the almost inaudible hum of a cricketot's midnight serenade. The Pokemon world doesn't rest, it simply changes tempo, settling into a slower, softer rhythm where even the smallest details resonate with meaning. And if we listen closely in that hazy space between waking and dreaming, we might just hear it, the gentle, endless song of a world alive with mysteries, waiting patiently for the dawn. Let the narration dissolve into silence, leaving only the faintest impression of these nocturnal wonders. In the stillness of the night, even the tiniest Pokemon carry stories too delicate for daylight. Consider Joltik, the miniature electric type that clings to larger creatures, drawing just enough energy to sustain itself. Despite its size, Joltik's presence is profound. Its tiny sparks illuminate hidden corners of the world, revealing the intricate patterns of spiderwebs or the glint of dew on grass. Some researchers believe Joltik's electrical discharges are more than just a means of survival. They're a form of communication, a Morse code of sorts, pulsing messages to others of its kind across the darkness. And then there's Cutiefly, a fairy type so light it can ride on the breeze. Its wings move so quickly they're almost invisible, yet their vibrations create a soft hum that blends seamlessly with the night. Cutiefly is said to be drawn to the auras of flowering plants and sleeping Pokemon, as if it thrives on the tranquility of rest. Trainers who've encountered Cutiefly often describe a sense of calm washing over them, as though the tiny Pokemon carries the essence of peace wherever it goes. High above, nocturnal Pokemon like Noctowl glide on silent wings, their keen eyes scanning the landscape for movement. Noctowl's feathers are specially adapted to muffle sound, allowing it to hunt without disturbing the quiet of the night. Its hoots and carry far in the stillness, each one a note in the symphony of the nocturnal world. Some say that Noctowl's calls can guide lost travelers, their pitch shifting subtly to indicate safe paths through the darkness. In colder regions, Glaceon prowls the frost-covered terrain, its icy breath crystallizing the air. Glaceon's presence is almost ghostly, its fur blending seamlessly with the snow. Its footprints, if they're visible at all, vanish almost as quickly as they appear, leaving no trace of its passage. Yet despite its ethereal nature, Glaceon is deeply attuned to its surroundings. its body temperature fluctuating in harmony with the environment. Meanwhile, in the shadows of dense forests, Sableye emerges from its rocky dens, its gem-like eyes glowing faintly in the dark. Sableye's diet consists primarily of minerals, which it scavenges from caves and mines. Its ability to consume even the hardest stones has led to legends of it being an earthbound spirit, a guardian of the underground. Some miners claim that Sableye's presence is a sign of rich deposits nearby, as if the Pokémon is drawn to the Earth's hidden treasures. Nearby, a Zorua might be weaving illusions, its playful trickery softened by the night's tranquility. Zorua's illusions aren't always meant to deceive. Sometimes they're a form of storytelling, creating fleeting images of ancient battles or forgotten legends. Trainers who've bonded with Zorua often speak of a deep, almost mystical connection, as though the Pokémon shares fragments of its own history through its illusions. In the depths of caves, Roggenrola sleeps peacefully, its crystalline core glowing faintly. Roggenrola's body is incredibly dense, making it one of the heaviest Pokémon relative to its size. Despite its weight, it moves with surprising grace, its rounded form allowing it to roll effortlessly across uneven terrain. Some geologists believe Roggenrola's crystalline core absorbs energy from the Earth itself, storing it for times when the Pokémon needs to defend itself. As Roggenrola evolves into Bulldori and eventually Gigalith, its connection to the Earth grows stronger, its body becoming a living monument to the planet's power. Nearby, a Solrock hovers silently, its body radiating a faint, warm glow. Solrock's presence is said to bring clarity and focus, its energy sharpening thoughts and dispelling confusion. Some cultures revere Solrock as a celestial guardian, believing it carries the wisdom of the stars within its rocky shell. Its counterpart, Lunatone, floats nearby, its crescent-shaped body casting a soft, silvery light. Lunatone is associated with dreams and intuition, its energy said to enhance creativity and emotional insight. Together, Solrock and Lunatone embody the balance between day and night, their energies intertwining in a delicate dance. As the night deepens, the world grows quieter, but the Pokémon within it remain active in ways that are often overlooked. A sleeping Snorlax's breaths are so deep and rhythmic that they create a gentle breeze, stirring the leaves around it. Snorlax's dreams, though impossible to see, are said to be as vast as its appetite, filled with visions of endless meadows and towering mountains of food. Nearby, a Togepi might be nestled in its eggshell, its soft chirps blending with the rustle of the wind. Togepi's shell is said to contain traces of ancient magic, a remnant of a time when Pokémon and humans first began to form bonds. Some believe that Togepi's happiness can influence the world around it, its joy radiating outward like ripples on a pond. In the distance, an Absol moves silently through the night, its blade-like horn gleaming faintly under the moonlight. Absol is often misunderstood, its appearance seen as an omen of disaster. In truth, Absol is a protector, its instincts honed to sense impending danger. It appears not to bring misfortune, but to warn others. Its presence a reminder of the delicate balance between safety and peril. Absol's movements are deliberate and graceful, each step a testament to its connection to the natural world. As dawn approaches, the nocturnal Pokémon begin to retreat, their activities slowing to a gentle lull. A Luxray's eyes, once piercing and bright, soften as it rests beneath the canopy of trees. Luxray's ability to see through solid objects is a marvel of evolution, yet it uses this power sparingly, focusing instead on the simple beauty of its surroundings. Nearby, a Leafeon stretches lazily, its leafy mane catching the first rays of sunlight. Levin's body is a marvel of efficiency, converting sunlight into energy with ease. Its presence is calming, a reminder of the quiet strength found in nature, and yet even as the day begins, the mysteries of the night linger, woven into the fabric of the Pokémon world. The soft glow of a Litwick's flame fades as the sun rises, but its warmth remains, a testament to the enduring connection between light and darkness. The whispers of a Whimsicott's cotton-like tufts drift on the breeze, carrying fragments of dreams and memories, and the faint hum of a Vibrava's wings echoes in the distance, a reminder that even the smallest Pokémon can create ripples in the world. As we awaken, we carry these quiet wonders with us, their stories etched into our minds like constellations in the night sky. The Pokémon world is vast and ever-changing, yet it remains rooted in a deep, abiding harmony, a harmony that resonates in the rustle of leaves, the ripple of water, and the soft murmur of life itself. And so, as the day unfolds, we move forward with a sense of wonder, knowing that the mysteries of the night are never truly gone. They simply wait, patiently, for the next chapter to begin. Deep within the caves of Sinnoh, where the earth hums with forgotten energy, the crystalline form of Sableye moves through the darkness unhindered. Thou small, impish Pokémon feed not on berries or prey, but on the very minerals of the earth, ingesting gems with an almost ritualistic satisfaction. Their eyes glow with an eerie light, reflecting the faint luminescence of distant crystals. Some say Sableye have no true reflection, as if they exist just slightly out of phase with the world around them. This peculiar trait has led to whispers that they might be connected to dimensions beyond our own, slipping between shadows with impossible ease. And yet, despite their ghostly nature, Sableye are curiously social, chittering among themselves in echoing caverns, their laughter like the faint clinking of distant chimes. Not far from these caves, the waters of Lake Verity ripple under the watchful presence of Mesprit, the being of emotion. Though rarely seen, its influence is felt in the quiet stirrings of the heart, those fleeting moments of joy or melancholy that seem to emerge from nowhere. Mesprit does not control emotions, but rather embodies their ever-shifting nature, a reminder that even the deepest sorrows eventually give way to new light. Fishermen on the lake sometimes speak of seeing a fleeting pink glow beneath the water's surface, a sign that Mesprit lingers near, listening to the unspoken feelings carried on the wind. Meanwhile, in the dense forests of Galar, the elusive Sinisteids drift silently among the undergrowth. This spectral teacup Pokémon is said to be the lingering soul of a forgotten drink, steeped so long in loneliness that it gained a life of its own. Some Sinistea bear an almost imperceptible stamp on their underside, a mark of authenticity, indicating they are of the rare, antique form. These particular Sinistea possess an air of quiet dignity, as if remembering a time when they were part of grand tea ceremonies, surrounded by warmth and conversation. When they evolve into Polteagist, their once delicate form becomes a swirling tempest of aromatic steam, their lid rattling with mischievous energy. Yet even in their evolved state, they retain an air of refinement, as if every pore from their spout carries the weight of centuries of tradition. Far to the north, in the snow-swept reaches of Hisui, the noble Zoroark moves like a phantom through the blizzard. Its illusions are not mere tricks, but carefully crafted stories, woven from strands of memory and emotion. A Zoroark's power is so precise that it can recreate entire scenes from the past, pulling them into the present, like fragments of a dream. Those who have encountered these visions speak of a strange melancholy, as if the illusions are not just seen, but felt, imbued with the lingering emotions of those who once lived them. Some believe that Zoroark absorbed fragments of the past from the very air, carrying the weight of forgotten histories in their flowing crimson mane. Beneath the ocean's surface, where sunlight filters down in wavering pillars, the enigmatic Frillish drifts with an almost hypnotic grace. Those jellyfish-like Pokémon are often mistaken for mere drifters, but their movements are deliberate, their long tendrils trailing like the tattered edges of old sails. Frillish are drawn to strong emotions, particularly sorrow, and it is said that they can sense the salt of human tears, even in the vastness of the sea. Their ghostly forms flicker between visibility and transparency, as if they are not entirely of this world, a lingering echo of sailors lost to the depths, now bound to the water in quiet wandering. High above the clouds, the majestic Altaria soars, its wings stirring the air into gentle melodies. Its downy feathers are not merely soft to the touch, they vibrate at frequencies that soothe the mind, easing tension with each rhythmic beat of its wings. Trainers who have flown with Altaria describe the experience as akin to floating within a dream, the boundaries between sky and self blurring into serenity. Some ancient cultures believed Altaria's song could heal the spirit, and even today, those who hear its humming notes feel a quiet calm settle over them, as though the very air has been woven into a lullaby. Back on the forest floor, the peculiar shuckle retreats into its rock-hard shell, its slow metabolism allowing it to survive on the barest traces of nutrients. Over centuries, Shuckle's body has perfected the art of patience, fermenting berries into a rich, honey-like liquid within its shell. This syrup is said to possess remarkable restorative properties, though extracting it requires an almost impossible level of trust, for Shuckle will only reveal its secret brew to those who have shown it unwavering kindness. The process is slow, deliberate, a testament to the quiet wisdom that comes from moving through life at one's own pace. And then there's the enigmatic spirit omb, bound to its keystone by an ancient curse. Its 108 troubled spirits swirl restlessly, their whispers carrying fragments of long-buried regrets. Yet Spiritomb is not inherently malevolent. It is a prisoner of its own past, its existence a tangled knot of unresolved stories. Some say that on particularly still nights, if one listens closely, the voices within Spiritomb can be heard murmuring in unison, their tones shifting between sorrow and yearning. There are legends of rare instances where Spiritomb has been freed from its keystone, not by force, but by an act of profound understanding, an offering of peace that allows its fractured souls to finally find rest. The world of Pokémon is woven from these quiet mysteries, each creature a thread in an ever-unfolding tapestry. From the drifting snow where Frostlass lingers, her breath as cold as forgotten promises, to the sun-warmed rocks where Heliolisk basks, its frill pulsing with the rhythm of the sun itself, every corner holds stories waiting to be heard. And as the day fades once more into night, those tales settle around us, like a soft blanket, their whispers blending with the rustle of leaves and the distant call of a noctowl, its wings carrying it silently through the dark. The world breathes, slow and steady, and in that rhythm we find rest. In the depths of the ocean, far beyond the reach of sunlight, the enigmatic lantern glides effortlessly through the abyss, its bioluminescent glow piercing the eternal darkness. Known as the deep sea star, this Pokemon's light is said to be visible from miles away, a beacon of hope in the otherwise impenetrable void. Fishermen and sailors have long told tales of being guided back to safety by the gentle glow of a lantern, its presence a reminder that even in the most desolate places there is light to be found. Its ability to generate electricity is not just a means of survival, but also a form of communication, its pulses carrying messages across vast distances, a silent language understood only by the creatures of the deep. Above the waves, the elusive Manaphy drift with the currents, its heart-shaped body pulsing with a soft, cerulean light. Known as the Prince of the Sea, Manaphy is said to possess the power to purify water and heal wounded hearts. Legends speak of its ability to form deep bonds with those it encounters, its presence bringing a sense of harmony and renewal. Some say that on calm nights, when the moon casts a silver path across the ocean, Manaphy can be seen dancing along the surface, its movements a delicate ballet that mirrors the ebb and flow of the tides. In the quiet shadows of ancient forests, the mystical Celebi moves unseen, its presence marked only by the faint rustling of leaves as it passes through time itself. Known as the guardian of the forest, Celebi is said to appear during moments of great change, its arrival a sign that nature's balance is being restored. Those who have encountered Celebi describe a fleeting sense of serenity, as though time itself has paused to allow a moment of reflection. Its ability to travel through time is not just a gift, but a responsibility, ensuring that the delicate thread of existence remains unbroken. In the same forests, the gentle shaman sleeps peacefully, its body curled into a soft, grassy mound. Known as the Gratitude Pokemon, Shaman is said to bloom only in the presence of pure happiness, its flowers a testament to the beauty of kindness. When Shaman transforms into its sky form, it takes to the air with a grace that defies gravity, its petals trailing behind like a comet's tail. Those who witness this transformation often describe a profound sense of awe, as though they have glimpsed a fleeting moment of perfection. In the arid deserts, where the sun beats down relentlessly, the stoic cacturn stands tall, its shadow stretching long across the sand. Known as the Scarecrow Pokemon, Cacturn is a master of patience, waiting motionless for hours until its prey comes within reach. Despite its fearsome appearance, Cacturne is deeply connected to the land, its roots drawing sustenance from the sparse moisture hidden beneath the surface. Some believe that Cacturne's presence is a reminder of the resilience required to thrive in harsh conditions, its silent vigil a testament to the strength of the spirit. Nearby, the elusive Sigilyph glides through the desert winds, its intricate patterns resembling ancient glyphs carved into stone. Known as the Avianoid Pokemon, Sigilyph is said to guard sacred sites, its watchful eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of disturbance. Its flight is hypnotic, a mesmerizing dance that seems to defy the laws of physics, its movements echoing the spiraling designs etched into its wings. In the icy tundras, the majestic glacian strides gracefully, its crystalline fur shimmering like frost under the pale moonlight. Known as the fresh snow Pokémon, Glaceon is said to bring calm to even the most chaotic storms, its presence a soothing balm to the harshness of winter. Trainers who have bonded with Glaceon describe a quiet companionship, as though the cold itself has become a source of comfort. Its ability to freeze the air around it is not just a defense mechanism, but also a form of artistry, each ice crystal a delicate masterpiece. Nearby, the enigmatic Froslass drifts silently through the snow, her form blending seamlessly with the winter landscape. Known as the Snowland Pokémon, Froslass is said to be the spirit of a woman lost to the cold, her ethereal beauty a haunting reminder of the fragility of life. Yet Froslass is not a malevolent presence. She is a guardian of the frozen world, her whispers carried on the wind, a lullaby for those who brave the cold. In the bustling cities, where the hum of activity never ceases, the industrious Klinklang works tirelessly, its gears turning in perfect harmony. Known as the Gear Pokémon, Klinklang is a symbol of efficiency and precision, its movements a testament to the power of collaboration. Some believe that the rhythmic clicking of its gears carries a hidden melody, a song of progress that resonates with those who strive for innovation. Its ability to generate electricity is not just a source of power, but also a reminder of the potential within every machine. Nearby, the curious Rotom flits about, its mischievous nature often leading it to possess household appliances. Known as the Plasma Pokémon, Rotom is a master of adaptation, its form shifting to suit its surroundings. Despite its playful antics, Rotom is deeply connected to the energy that flows through the world, its presence a reminder of the unseen forces that shape our lives. In the tranquil meadows, where the air is thick with the scent of wildflowers, the serene blossom dances gracefully, its petals swaying in the breeze. Known as the Flower Pokémon, Blossom is said to bring joy to those who witness its dance, its movements a celebration of life's simple pleasures. Trainers who have spent time with Blossom describe a sense of peace, as though the world's worries have been momentarily lifted. Its ability to channel sunlight into energy is not just a survival trait, but also a form of communion with the natural world. Nearby, the whimsical Whimsicott drifts on the wind, its fluffy body resembling a cotton ball caught in a gentle breeze. Known as the wind-veiled Pokémon, Whimsicott is said to bring good fortune to those who encounter it, its presence a sign of brighter days ahead. Its mischievous nature often leads it to play harmless pranks, its laughter echoing like the rustle of leaves in the wind. In the cavernous depths of mountains, the formidable Agron roams, its steel-plated body impervious to harm. Known as the Iron Armor Pokémon, Agron is a protector of its territory, its presence a deterrent to those who would disturb the peace. Despite its fearsome appearance, Agron is deeply connected to the land, its strength used to shape the environment rather than destroy it. Some believe that Agron's roar carries the echoes of ancient battles, a reminder of the resilience required to endure. Nearby, the serene Carbink sleeps peacefully, its crystalline body reflecting the faint light that filters through the rocks. Known as the Jewel Pokémon, Carbink is said to possess the power to protect its surroundings, its presence a shield against harm. Its form is both delicate and enduring, a reminder the true strength often lies in stillness. In the sprawling plains, where the horizon stretches endlessly, the majestic Rapidash gallops freely, its fiery mane trailing behind like a torch in the wind. Known as the Fire Horse Pokémon, Rapidash is a symbol of speed and freedom, its hooves leaving a trail of sparks in its wake. Trainers who have ridden Rapidash describe a sense of exhilaration, as though the world itself has been set alight with possibility. Its connection to fire is not just a source of power, but also a reminder of the passion that drives us forward. Nearby, the serene Tauros grazes peacefully, its powerful form a testament to the strength of the land. Known as the Wild Bull Pokémon, Tauros is deeply connected to the earth, its presence a reminder of the importance of grounding oneself in the natural world. Its calm demeanor belies its immense strength, a reminder that true power often lies in restraint. And as the night deepens, the world of Pokémon continues to unfold, its stories interwoven with the fabric of existence. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of the mountains, each creature carries a piece of the puzzle, their lives a testament to the beauty of diversity. The whispers of the wind, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of a Pokémon, all blend into a symphony that lulls the world into a peaceful slumber. And in that stillness, the stories continue, their gentle cadence a reminder that even in the quietest moments, life is full of wonder. In the misty forests of the Hoenn region, a peculiar Pokémon called Shedinja drifts silently between the trees, its hollow body casting eerie shadows in the moonlight. Known as the Shed Pokémon, Shedinja is said to be the discarded shell of a Ninjask left behind when it evolved. Its back bears a strange, otherworldly crack, and legends claim that peering into it steals the soul of the observer. Yet despite its unsettling reputation, Shedinja is not malicious. It simply exists, floating through the world with an unknowable purpose. Some researchers theorize that its emptiness is not a void, but a vessel waiting to be filled with something beyond human comprehension. Nearby, the gentle Wismore sleeps soundly beneath the roots of an ancient tree. Known as the Whisper Pokémon, Wismer's voice, when raised, can be devastatingly loud, yet in rest, it barely makes a sound. The vibrations of its breath create a subtle hum, one that resonates through the forest floor like a lullaby. Trainers who have camped near Wismore often report the most peaceful nights of sleep, as though the Pokemon's quiet presence absorbs the chaos of the world around it. It is said that in the deepest caves, where no light reaches, colonies of Wismore create a chorus of soft murmurs that echo like distant thunder, soothing even the most restless spirits. Meanwhile, in the crystalline waters of Unova, the elusive Alamomola glides gracefully, its pink, heart-shaped body reflecting the sunlight in shimmering patterns. Known as the caring Pokémon, Alamomola is often seen supporting weakened swimmers, carrying them to safety with gentle determination. Fishermen tell stories of shipwrecked sailors who awoke on distant shores, unsure how they survived, only to catch a glimpse of Alamomola's fins disappearing beneath the waves. Its kindness is instinctual, a reminder that even in the vast and unpredictable ocean, there are beings that watch over the lost. Above the water's surface, perched on a weathered dock post, sits the tranquil ducklet, its feathers ruffled by the breeze. Known as the water bird Pokémon, Ducklet spends much of its day drifting lazily on the water, its serene demeanor belying the incredible speed it can achieve when startled. Some say that watching a flock of ducklet take flight is like watching clouds scatter before a storm. One moment they are still, the next they are gone, leaving only ripples behind. Their soft, rhythmic quivering when they sleep is a sound many associate with peaceful lakeside mornings, where time seems to slow to a crawl. Deep in the deserts of Alola, where the sands stretch endlessly beneath the scorching sun, the mysterious Sandygast emerges from the dunes. Known as the Sand Heap Pokémon, it is said to be born from the grudges of those lost in the desert, taking the form of a child's sand castle, as if yearning for innocence long gone. Trainers who encounter Sandygast often report an inexplicable urge to scoop up sand and add to its form, as though the Pokemon's presence compels them to build. Yet, despite its eerie origins, there is something almost playful about Sandygast, like it remembers, faintly, what it was like to be something joyful before the weight of time settled upon it. In stark contrast, the quiet forests of Kalos hold the delicate Flabébé, a tiny fairy that clings to a single flower as if it were the most precious thing in the world. Known as the single bloom Pokémon, Flabébé's entire existence revolves around its chosen flower, nurturing it with a devotion that borders on reverence. The color of its flower determines its powers, and some say that a Flabébé with a rare golden blossom can bring good fortune to those who merely glimpse it. There is a sweetness to the way it drifts through meadows, as though each gentle breeze carries a whispered secret meant only for the flowers to hear. On the outskirts of human settlements, where the wilds begin to reclaim the land, the watchful Noctowl perches high in the trees, its golden eyes gleaming in the dark. Known as the Owl Pokémon, Noctowl's flight is utterly soundless, its feathers designed by nature to muffle even the faintest whisper of movement. In ancient times, people believed that Noctowl could see into the future, interpreting the patterns of stars reflected in its eyes. Even now, some trainers swear that their Noctowl warned them of unseen dangers. A sudden hoot in the night, an unexplained turn of the head, as though the Pokémon perceives things just beyond human understanding. And then there is the enigmatic Sigilyph, drifting through ancient ruins like a silent guardian of forgotten history. Known as the Avianoid Pokémon, its geometric patterns and hovering movements suggest intelligence beyond simple instinct. Some archaeologists believe Sigilyph were created long ago by a lost civilization to protect sacred sites, eternal sentinels that outlived their makers. Watching one glide effortlessly between crumbling pillars, one can't help but wonder what knowledge it carries in its silent vigil, what stories it could tell if only it spoke. As night deepens, even the most active Pokémon begin to settle. The mischievous Impidimp, usually so full of pranks, curls into the hollow of a tree, its ragged breath slowing as it finally rests. The towering Copperajah, a massive beast of steel and strength, kneels by the riverbank, its trunk dipping into the water as it takes slow, measured sips. And high above, the stars themselves seem to pulse in time with the soft, rhythmic song of a distant cricketune, its melody the very sound of the night breathing. In this quiet, the world feels suspended, a moment where every Pokémon, no matter how strange or formidable, finds stillness. The boundaries between myth and reality blur, and it becomes easy to imagine that these creatures are not merely part of our world, but guardians of something older, something deeper. And as sleep finally takes hold, their stories continue to unfold in dreams, where the line between fact and legend no longer matters, only the soft, endless whisper of the Pokemon world, alive even in the dark. In the hush of twilight, even the most peculiar Pokemon take on a serene quality. Take, for instance, the elusive Dunsparce, a creature that seems almost too simple at first glance. Its small, serpentine body and tiny wings giving little hint of the mysteries it carries. Found burrowing in quiet meadows, Dunsparce is said to possess a hidden power, one that only reveals itself in the rarest of circumstances. Folklore speaks of a Dunsparce that once burrowed so deep it awakened something ancient beneath the earth, though whether this is truth or merely a fireside tale, none can say for certain. Its gentle, almost absent minded movements as it winds through the grass make it easy to overlook, but those who pause to watch may notice the way it hums softly to itself, a sound like distant wind through a canyon. Nearby, where the earth grows damp and the air thick with the scent of moss, the peculiar Stunfisk lies in wait. Flat as a fallen leaf, it blends seamlessly into the mud, its wide, unblinking eyes the only sign of its presence. Known as the trap Pokemon, Stunfisk rarely moves unless provoked, content to let the world pass by as it basks in the faint warmth of the sun. But when disturbed, it unleashes a jolt of electricity so sudden and fierce that even seasoned trainers may stumble back in surprise. Yet by nightfall, it becomes something else entirely. A quiet silhouette in the shallows, its body barely stirring the water as it drifts into stillness. And then there is the enigmatic Shuckle, a creature that carries its home upon its back like a hermit crab, though its shell is not borrowed but grown. Inside, it brews a liquid so sweet that legends claim it can cure any ailment, though extracting it without the Pokemon's consent is a fool's errand. Shuckle moves with an almost meditative slowness, as though each step is a deliberate act of patience. In the oldest forests, where time itself seems to slow, it is said that Shuckle live for centuries, their shells growing thicker and more ornate with each passing year. To find one in the wild is to stumble upon a relic of another age, a quiet witness to the turning of the seasons. High in the mountains, where the air is thin and the snow never melts, the majestic Glalie drifts like a specter. Its frozen body, carved into a permanent grin, hides a curious duality, and it is both protector and omen. To travelers lost in the blizzard, Glalie may appear as a guiding light, its icy form reflecting the faint glow of the aurora overhead. But cross it, and its smile turns sinister, its breath so cold it can freeze the very air into jagged shards. Yet when the storms pass and the night grows still, Glalie becomes something softer, its presence a reminder of nature's quiet majesty. Far below, in the depths of caves where sunlight never reaches, the ghostly Sableye scuttles among the shadows. Its gem-like eyes gleam in the dark, catching even the faintest glimmer of light. Known to feed on precious stones, Sableye is often found near abandoned mines, its mischievous chuckles echoing through the tunnels like whispers from the earth itself. Some say it can see in complete darkness, not with eyes, but with an otherworldly sense, a remnant of its origins in a place where light does not exist. When it thinks itself unobserved, it will sometimes dance, its jagged movements oddly graceful, as though performing for an audience only it can see. And where the caves open into vast underground lakes, the mysterious Relicanth drifts in the black water, its body unchanged for millennia. Called the longevity Pokémon, it is a living fossil, a relic of a time when the oceans were young. Its scales are hard as stone, and its movements are slow, deliberate, as though it carries the weight of ages in every stroke of its fins. Fishermen who glimpse it speak in hushed tones, for to see a relicanth is to touch the ancient past, a reminder of how much of the world remains unknown. Back on the surface, where the first light of dawn begins to creep over the horizon, the gentle comfy stirs. It weaves flowers into delicate rings, wearing them like crowns as it flits from bloom to bloom. Its fragrance is so soothing that hospitals in tropical regions often keep comfy nearby, their presence said to ease pain and hasten healing. There is something deeply peaceful in the way it moves, as though it understands the quiet language of petals and pollen, a silent caretaker of the gardens it calls home. And as the world wakes, so too does the curious Ditto, stretching its amorphous body with a sound like soft clay being shaped. Able to become anything it sees, Ditto is nevertheless content in its natural state to simply exist, a pink, blobby creature with a perpetual smile. Some researchers believe its transformative abilities are tied to its relaxed, almost dreamlike mindset. It does not force itself to change, but rather flows into new shapes as easily as water fills a vessel. Watching a Ditto nap in the sun, one might wonder if it dreams of being other things, or if it simply enjoys the warmth on its smooth, shifting skin. Even the formidable Gyarados, so often associated with rage and destruction, has its moments of quiet. On still mornings, when the lake's surface is like glass, it can be seen gliding just beneath the water, its massive body moving with unexpected grace. Those who have studied Gyarados up close speak of an intelligence in its eyes, a depth that contradicts its violent reputation. Perhaps its fury is not innate, but learned, a response to a world that once feared it. In these rare moments of calm, it seems almost regretful, as though it longs for something it cannot name. And then there is the ever-elusive Celebi, the time-travel Pokémon, said to appear only when the fabric of time grows thin. Its presence is marked by a soft chime, like a bell rung in a distant forest, and those who encounter it often describe a sense of déjà vu, as though they have met before or will meet again. Celebi does not speak, but its eyes hold the weight of countless years, and its laughter is the sound of leaves rustling in a breeze that hasn't yet arrived. To see Celebat is to stand at the crossroads of past and future, if only for a heartbeat. As the day begins anew, the Pokemon world returns to its rhythm, a tapestry of creatures great and small, each with its own secrets, its own stories. And though we may never uncover all their mysteries, there is comfort in knowing that they are out there, moving through the world in ways we can only begin to imagine. So let the rustle of grass, the distant call of a wingull, the soft hum of a sleeping Pokemon lull you deeper into rest, where dreams and reality intertwine, and the line between them fades into silence. Consider the delicate wings of Butterfree, which shimmer with iridescent scales so fine they appear to be made of powdered moonlight. These scales are not merely decorative. When disturbed, they release a dust so light it can lull even the fiercest opponent into a deep, dreamless sleep. Some say the pattern on a Butterfree's wings is unique to each individual, much like a fingerprint, carrying subtle variations that tell the story of its life. If you listen closely on a still evening, You might hear the faintest whisper of its wings brushing against the air, a sound as soft as a sigh. Then there is the enigmatic Shedinja, a Pokemon that exists in the hollow shell left behind when Nincada evolves. Its back is an empty cavern, yet somehow it lives, a paradox given form. Its legend says that peering into the void of its body steals the breath from your lungs, and those who stare too long find their thoughts slipping away like sand through fingers. And yet Shedinja is harmless, drifting silently through the world with no malice, only mystery. Some trainers claim it doesn't even cast a shadow, as though it exists just outside the rules of reality. The sea holds its own quiet wonders. Corsola, with their branching coral-like bodies, move so slowly they seem part of the ocean floor itself. Their delicate structures filter sunlight through the water, scattering it into shifting patterns on the sand below. But in recent years, a darker variation has been observed. Galarian Corsola, pale and ghostly, their forms bleached by some unseen sorrow. They float listlessly in the currents, their presence a silent reminder of the fragility of life beneath the waves. Even the rowdiest of Pokemon have moments of stillness. Take Primeape, known for its boundless fury, yet in rare instances, when it thinks no one is watching, it will sit alone, staring at its reflection in a still pond. What does it see there? The face of its former self, manky, full of unchecked energy, or something deeper, a recognition of the anger it carries like a weight? No one knows for certain, but in those quiet moments, its usual scowl softens, just slightly. The night brings its own cast of gentle creatures. Hoot, with its perfectly round eyes, stands a sentinel in the moonlight, turning its head in precise 180-degree increments. Its internal clock is so exact that it begins hooting at the same second each night, a living metronome of the forest. Far above, the drifting form of Drifloon tugs lightly at children's hands, its thin strings swaying in the breeze. Though stories warn of it carrying them away, most know it simply seeks companionship, its heart-shaped knot a silent plea not to be left alone in the dark. And what of the forgotten ones? The Pokemon that linger in the corners of memory, like Phione, born from the union of Manaphy and water so pure it glows. It is neither rare nor powerful, simply existing in quiet shoals, content to drift where the tide takes it. Or Dunsparce with its tiny wings that cannot possibly lift its body, yet it still gazes at the sky with something like longing. Perhaps it dreams of flight, or perhaps it knows something we do not, that some desires are beautiful precisely because they can never be realized. Beneath the earth, the sturdy onyx wears the scars of its long life in the grooves of its rocky body. Tunneling through mountains, it moves with a slow, deliberate patience, feeling the vibrations of the world through the stones it calls home. Some say an ancient onyx can recall the shape of the land as it once was, carrying the memory of rivers that have long since run dry. Even in the vastness of space, there are whispers of Pokémon. Cleffa dance in rings under the stars, their tiny feet leaving no marks in the grass, as though they are barely touching the ground at all. Some believe they are waiting for what no one can say. A sign, a call, or simply the right moment to return to whatever celestial home they once knew. Then there are the sounds, the distant chime of a bronzor spinning in an empty temple, the hum of a cricketoon's melody weaving through summer nights, the almost inaudible rustle of a leaf brushing against ferns as it passes. These are the rhythms of the Pokemon world, steady and sure, a lullaby for those who listen. So let the weight of these quiet wonders settle around you like a blanket of fallen leaves or the hush of a snow covered field. There is no need to chase the mysteries. They will come to you in time as softly as dusk follows day. And as you drift, remember, the world is still turning, the stars are still watching, and somewhere a Pokemon is resting just as you are, beneath the same endless sky. The night is long and gentle and full of stories waiting to be dreamed. Breathe in, breathe out, and little by little, let go. In the quiet depths of the ocean, where sunlight barely reaches, the elusive Relicanth drifts through the currents like a living fossil. Its body has remained unchanged for millennia, a relic of an ancient time when the seas were ruled by different rhythms. Some say its scales hold secrets, patterns that map forgotten underwater caverns, or even the movements of continents long before they shifted into the shapes we know today. And yet, Relicanth does not hurry. It moves with the patience of deep water, content to exist outside of time, carrying the weight of history in its slow, steady fins. Not far from these depths, Corsola build their delicate reefs, their branching forms creating intricate cities beneath the waves. But in some regions, the water grows murky, and the Corsola there fade, their colors dulling until they become something else entirely, a ghostly echo of what they once were. It's a quiet tragedy, one that unfolds without fanfare, a reminder that even the most resilient creatures can be worn down by a changing world. Yet still, they persist, adapting in ways both beautiful and heartbreaking. On the shore, where the waves lap gently at the sand, you might find a slowpoke staring blankly at the horizon. Its thoughts, if it has any, are a mystery. Perhaps it's contemplating the tide, or perhaps it's simply waiting for the next droplet of water to fall from its tail, which it will then lazily lick without a care. Slowpoke moves through life at its own pace, unhurried, undisturbed by the chaos of the world around it. There's a kind of wisdom in that, an acceptance that some things cannot be rushed, and that stillness, too, has its own kind of power. In the forests, where the sunlight filters through the leaves in dappled patterns, the elusive Celebi flits between the trees, barely more than a shimmer in the air. It is said to be a guardian of time, a traveler between eras, but it leaves no footprints behind. Where it goes or why, no one can say for certain. Perhaps it is tending to the threads of history, weaving them gently into place, or perhaps it is simply wandering, as all creatures do, in search of something it cannot name. Even the smallest Pokemon carry their own quiet mysteries. A single Combi, for instance, is barely noticed, just a humble worker in the grand hierarchy of its hive. But when the Vespican commands, they move as one, a symphony of wings and purpose. There is something comforting in that order, in the way each Combay knows its place, contributing to something greater than itself. And yet, if you listen closely to the hum of their wings, you might hear the faintest variation, a single Combay out of sync, dreaming perhaps of a life beyond the hive. Then there is the enigmatic Ditto, a creature of pure potential. It can become anything, mimic anyone, but when it is alone, it returns to its natural form, a simple, amorphous being with no distinct features of its own. Does it ever grow tired of wearing other shapes? Does it long in its quiet moments to be something more than a reflection? Or does it find peace in its endless adaptability, content to slip into whatever role the world asks of it? High in the mountains, where the air is thin and the snow never melts, the majestic cryogonal drifts like a living snowflake. Its body is geometric, precise, as if carved by the wind itself. When the sunlight strikes it just right, it scatters the light into 1,000 tiny rainbows, a fleeting spectacle for anyone lucky enough to witness it. But cryogonal does not linger. It moves with the breeze, untethered, a reminder that some beauty exists only in passing. And in the caves, where the darkness is absolute, the glowing Musharna floats silently, its dream mist swirling like smoke. It feeds on the dreams of others, drawing them out in soft pastel tendrils. Some say its mist carries fragments of those dreams, echoes of laughter, whispers of forgotten fears, the faint imprint of a memory too fragile to hold on to. To stand near Musharna is to feel the weight of sleep pulling at you, gentle and insistent, as if it knows the exact moment you're ready to let go. Even the fiercest Pokémon have their softer moments. The mighty Gyarados, known for its terrifying rage, was once a helpless Magikarp, flopping pathetically in shallow water. It endured ridicule, hardship, and countless near misses with predators before it transformed. And when it finally evolved, its fury was not just anger, it was the culmination of every struggle it had ever faced. But on rare nights, when the moon is full and the water is still, Gyarados can be seen gliding silently beneath the surface, its movements almost serene. Perhaps in those moments, it remembers what it was and how far it has come. Meanwhile, in the quiet corners of libraries and ancient ruins, the ghostly Yamask wanders, clutching the mask that was once its own face. It does not speak, but sometimes it traces the features of the mask with trembling fingers, as if trying to recall what it felt like to wear it. What does it remember of its past life? Does it mourn, or has it made peace with what it has become? The answers are lost to time, just like the name it once answered to. And then there is Eevee, a creature of endless possibility. Its DNA is unstable, shifting, waiting for the right moment to change into something new. But in its base form, it is simply Eevee, small, warm, and full of potential. It does not know what it will become, only that the choice is coming. There is something deeply human in that uncertainty, in the quiet anticipation of a future not yet written. As night deepens, the world grows softer. The distant cry of a noctowl carries on the wind, a low, resonant call that seems to echo between the trees. Somewhere, a family of munchlax slumbers in a heap, their full bellies rising and falling in unison. A lone Staryu pulses faintly on a rock, its core glowing in rhythm with the tides. These are the quiet heartbeats of the Pokémon world, steady, unchanging, a reminder that even in the vastness of the universe, there are constants, small, tender things that endure. So let your thoughts drift like a feather on the breeze, carried by the whispers of these creatures and their stories. There is no need to hold on too tightly. Just breathe and listen, and little by little, let the weight of the world slip away. The night is long and kind and full of quiet wonders. Rest now. The Pokémon are dreaming too.